everyone. So today I've got for you a first impressions video. I did a really awesome swap with Lizzie from Rose and Jones, the YouTube channel Rose and Jones. We did a really nice swap and I received her package today, and there's 3 scents to try, one of which I've tried before, but I had a sample and it was a few years ago, and I remember liking it, but I never quite felt the need to buy it, so I wanted to retry it. The other one's completely blind. It's Dior Dioramour, and it's a decant that I've got here. I've not tried it yet, so it's literally just arrived this morning. I tried the other 2, and so the final one is La Belle from Jean Paul Gaultier, and I smelt this one in a shop very briefly, just a quick spray on a piece of paper, along with smelling so many other things, and I just at the time thought it's quite nice, but it didn't grab my attention. But I really wanted to revisit it because I know Lizzie really loves it, and I've seen some great reviews online, so I wanted to sort of be able to test it in my own time and come to my own conclusions, because top notes don't tell you everything, of course. You need to test it on your skin and see how it develops. Sometimes you can fall in love with a fragrance that you really didn't think was that amazing to start with. So that's what I was kind of hoping would happen with La Belle, because I really like the bottle and I kind of want to have one of those voluptuous Jean Paul Gaultier bottles in my collection. So then the other one that I mentioned is Florentina, and that's by Sylvaine Delacourte. I had a sample ages ago, liked it, didn't buy it. It's got almond in it and vanilla. Bloody aeroplanes, don't they know there's a quarantine on? Noisy buggers. Right then, I'm going to continue. It's a bit quieter now. So Florentina, I just sprayed there before my shower earlier. So the postman arrived before my shower. I sprayed Florentina here and I sprayed La Belle here, and they both survived the shower. So I've just got this musky almond sweet smell left from Florentina, and over here actually La Belle reminds me of Hypnotic Poison from Dior, and I think it's just the musky vanilla almond again. So they're both actually quite similar in some of their nuances. La Belle has pear, and I'm not sure, maybe Florentina does. It might do, I can't remember. It wouldn't surprise me if it does. But La Belle has lasted better through the shower, so it's actually projecting off of me still, and I did 2 little sprays in the crook of my elbow and showered, and it's projecting, and it reminds me of Hypnotic Poison, and it also reminds me of The One by Dolce & Gabbana, D&G The One. They both smell similar to me anyway, musky almond, heliotrope kind of floral scents, and I'm getting a lot of that from, but I'm just gonna jumping all over the show here. I'm a little bit excited, so I'm gonna respray La Belle in the same place now, just to kind of get the top notes. And I'm going to respray Florentina over here as well. And let's see what I think when it comes to the top notes. So La Belle is really pretty. The pear note is kind of fresh and juicy, so it's a ripe pear. If you was to cut into it, so you'd get splashed with a bit of the juice. So it's green and sweet and juicy, but you have the vanilla, and to me I feel like there's a bit of heliotrope or something fluffy and almond like going on as well. It's really nice, actually. It's really nice. I'm glad I'm smelling it properly on its own without being in a shop and having smelled everything else. Nice, fresh, juicy, yet quite sweet and dense. It's not a fresh as in a citrus fresh cologne or anything like that. The pear is fresh, but the other notes are kind of heavy and dense, so the vanilla, the almond fluffiness, quite dense. So the fragrance lends itself more to probably colder weather, but I would wear this on a mediocre spring day without feeling like it's too heavy. Now then, Florentina is fresher in the opening to me, so I feel like there's a bit of citrus in the top just to give it a lift, and the almond is kind of green and fresh rather than it being thick and fluffy or heliotrope like to start with. It's kind of smooth and green and fresh, but it does kind of have a slightly marzipan like feel without being densely sweet. Certainly in the opening, Florentina is the fresher, more appropriate to warmer weather than La Belle is. But the main thing I wanted to do for this video, they were just some impressions for now. I will revisit them. It's so bloody, I didn't expect the sun to suddenly come out and blind me. Okay, I'm out of the sun. That was a little bit difficult. It was too much in my eyes. So the main thing I wanted to share with you all is my first impressions on Dior Dioramour. So this is from the Privé line, the high-end line. I know that Lizzie really loves this perfume, and I've also seen that Eugene quite enjoys the perfume, and I heard that it's like a makeup powder kind of feel, which I really enjoy in fragrances. So very curious to see what this one's like. So this is actually going to be my scent of the day. So yes, I have got my elbows already scented, but this is going to go everywhere else. So this is literally first impressions. I've never smelt this in a shop. I've not even took the lid off and smelt the lid yet. So here we go. We'll start with just the one wrist, a few sprays, and I'll give that a second for the alcohol to dissipate. Excuse the annoying doggies. While that's settling, I want to talk about my hair. It's gone a bit mad. It's in dire need of a cut. So you can see how the ends are all kind of, they're not quite curly, they're a bit weird. So I don't know when I'm next going to be able to get a haircut. I don't think you needed to really know that, but it's a bit fluffy. It's a bit floofy. Anyhow, I'm going to be going on a bike ride in a minute. But let's see how this smells now. Dior Dioramour. I'm kind of nervous. Okay. Instantly making me think of Chanel 19 Poudre. So it's powdery and green. Now I know that there is jasmine in here. I think the notes are only very, very limited. I think it's jasmine, powder, I think maybe vanilla, I could be wrong. To me, this is quite green, herbal. It's not like a galbanum green. Galbanum's that really dry green resin smell, which I just don't get on with. I don't think I'm getting galbanum here, but it is that kind of ballpark though. But mostly it's reminding me of Chanel number 19 Poudre, because it's powdery, but it's not mega powdery. It's nowhere near as powdery as La Belle, and in terms of sweetness, it's a whole another level of, it's a non-sweet fragrance. La Belle's very sweet. This has quite a sharp green scent to it, so it stops it being sweet. It's very outdoorsy green. I wouldn't have necessarily picked out jasmine actually. It's really interesting. I have to be honest, it's not what I expected. It's not as sweet as I expected. It's not as powdery as I expected. I think there's iris. I think there's iris in here. It's a little bit light as well. Prada Infusion D'iris, because that's kind of green and powdery too. We'll have to see how that develops. I will do some sprays up here. It's quite a good one actually for a spring day, because it's quite green and outdoorsy and fresh. So it's kind of perfect really for a bike ride. And I feel like, just wobbly chair, I feel like these could smell like this. That would make sense. Little flowers, lots of green. It doesn't though. Not much scent to that really. Oh, I'm going to end up ingesting it. So first impressions then, Dior Dioramour. I'm liking it a bit more now. It's warming up. There's a little bit of sweetness coming through now. Yeah, I can kind of see how it's a little bit makeup like now, although the green aspect stops it being, my god, come on, off you get. Got a really baby spider. It's a money spider, so that means coming into money. Off you go, fella. Yeah, I can tell I can kind of pick up on the jasmine now, so it's becoming more floral, less green, still green, but less green, more sweet. It's definitely warming up, it's definitely improving. So I guess to start with, it's kind of a cold fragrance because it's green and fresh. And now it's warming up and getting more powdery and getting sweeter. So we'll see how that one develops. I might come back after my bike ride with a few more thoughts on it. I'm back from my bike ride. I've been sat down for about half an hour or so, and my thoughts on Dior Dioramour is I wasn't really getting too much projection. Here comes the cat. What's the matter, sweetie? What do you want? She just wants attention. It's that simple. So I wasn't getting too much in the way of noticing it as I was riding around. When I stopped and came home and put my bike away, as I was pushing my bike, I realised I was getting little wafts of it. But it's quite light. It's not a very strong fragrance. It's definitely very ethereal. It's settled down now, so it's a bit more powdery. Definitely smells like an iris scent to me, predominantly. It feels iris, but in that powdery, slightly green way iris can be. Not really earthy, and it's not really going sweet at all. I've got a kind of green sharpness coming through. Almost reminds me a little bit of Hairspray. And it's very, very soft. It's not as sweet as I expected. So it's basically not what I expected. And therefore I'm not loving it. I like my fragrances to have a little bit of sweetness. And this doesn't really have much sweetness. And this is kind of just a soft, powdery. It's a soft, powdery iris with a bit of green. That's really all I can say to describe it, and doesn't really have a lot of presence to it. So it's the kind of fragrance that would be good for people that don't want to make a statement. They just want to smell good, natural smelling. It's very natural. It doesn't feel like it's got any synthetic sweetness coming through. Outdoorsy and quiet. It's that kind of scent. So that's all I'm going to say on it for now. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.